This is Robosaurus.
The line's just at a standstill right now. There's a new Scarecrow.
Someone come on to our infernal carnival.
Okay guys, we're back at Universal Studios Florida. It's time for another Halloween Horror Nights 2026 update. Today is one of my favorite days of the year. It's the opening of a tribute store. If you don't know what the tribute stores are, they're like these immersive, over-the-top themed environments where they sell the merchandise and the food, and there's thousands of Easter eggs. So we're gonna do the entire rundown. I spent like all day in there looking at everything, kind of unlocking all the different story elements. But on that note, it's time to talk about the Halloween Horror Nights shirt of the day. Now this one was not sold by Universal. This is a fan-made shirt. Tribute store comics, certified fan. So on that note, enjoy the commercial. This is gonna be the first launch commercial for HHN 35.
We're back.
Okay, welcome back. We're gonna explore the park first, see if there's any updates since team member preview from last night, and then at 11 o'clock, it'll open for the annual pass holders at the tribute store for the preview.
So this will be the view for probably most of Halloween Horror Nights. All my team member friends said it was a pretty successful team member preview. A lot of good stuff this year. Michael did have a new post.
So Michael tweeted out this: late to bed, early to rise, back at it. Team member preview night 1 was a success. So glad our fellow team members can enjoy the last few rehearsal nights we have before the public on Thursday and Friday. Gives us all the opportunity to really hone in the content, both on stage and backstage. Test and adjust elements. It allows us characters to begin and understand their roles and get comfortable in their costumes, makeup, and props. It was awesome to see so many enjoying the hard work of our teams. We're just getting started. Team member preview night 2, here we come. Now, speaking about tweets, Five Fires tweeted out this. He said, John Murdy is bringing back the Twitter password for HHN Hollywood. You have to tell Nikki from Obsession the password, and she may grant you a wish. Nikki will be roaming around the whole event and may be tough to find, but wow, I need to do this on one of my trips to HHN Hollywood. Well, speaking about John Murdy, you know what time it is?
There's John Murdy right there. John!
So John tweeted out this: I've always loved untouched areas of the Universal backlot, which has probably been the same since the silent film days. This owl has been around the Terror Tram as long as I have, always checking out what we're up to. The prey mantis hitching a ride on my golf cart yesterday. Hey John, are you doing the I'm Asking the Horror Tours in Hollywood? John says, I provided a lot of material for it. Wait, is this where the Twitter password will be on this account? And then John says, no, I believe Instagram stories. So that's talking about the Obsession password. So you got to look on the Instagram stories for Horror Nights. Hollywood Harry comes to Orlando. John says, I think he got on the wrong bus. I'd love to be part of the tech management, as I'm a great leader and very enthusiastic about my role. Do I need any sort of degree for that, or do I just need to work my way up from a starting role into management? And John says, I think for big companies, degrees still matter.
There's Al Roker right there. There's Al Roker. The one and only. Crusty Lip Clown, you did good during team member previews. There may be many icons in the scare zone, but you're the true icon, the true MVP of the scare zone. All the cars have been removed from outside Mel's because now the zombies are roller skating around. They also have 2 fully stocked HHN gift cards. Let's go head into Fort Nightmares, see what's changed.
Fort Nightmares is going to be a little different. There's supposed to be a lot of different IPs inside the scare zone. I guess they just couldn't lock them down, but it was going to be kind of like the game where it's like you're running into the original characters, but then also a ton of IP characters. I think there's only like 1 IP character that made the cut. I wonder if it'll be any different in Hollywood, if they'll have any different IPs in their scare zone.
This was not here yesterday. There's a new Scarecrow that has appeared inside the Fort Nightmares scare zone. There's also another Scarecrow over here, so 2 Scarecrows have appeared overnight. It is Dufftoberfest here in Springfield. Queasy, that is a little gross. Looks like someone was flossing in Springfield. They're supposed to be flossing over in the Fortnite scare zone. The pumpkins never return to the bottom of the truss. I don't know why. What is Hallow Scream? Trying to do some subliminal marketing over here? There's a pin here. I know what you did last summer. It is 10 o'clock now. The tribute store will open at 11 for all the APs. It's 11:17. They're letting like 1 or 2 people in at a time. The line's just at a standstill right now. All right, so when you come in, we get 3 posters here. Let's read all the posters. Now there is the hidden code. We're gonna have to read the hidden code and decipher it. But each poster is gonna have its own hidden secret. So I got a long road ahead of me trying to figure everything out.
Okay, so the first poster we see is Enter a Realm Where the Unknown is Known. Oddities and curiosities from far and wide. Believe your eyes and trust your soul. Now, we did translate the first little decoded code all the way at the top. We're not going to do them all because they take a very long time to translate, but it says, walk softly among the collection unless you want to become the exhibit. The next poster says, even the shadows run from Aurak, the monster tamer. Watch him do battle with the most dangerous otherworldly beasts known to man in the pit. See the newly captured coffin-toothed creature. Enter if you dare.
And then over here you got Madame Basil.
The next banner will say past, present, future, beyond. Madame Basil's Meet the Mystic Fortune Teller, formerly known as Basil the Boundless. The dead are listening. They are amused.
We got another poster.
The next sign says, enter the Sideshow Obscura Midway. Venture deep into the Damus Diaboli. Will you escape? Treasure the artistry from the world's fair-inspired Wheel of Wonder and more.
Just kind of leading into all the different rooms that we're going to be entering into.
Welcome to the Sideshow Obscura. This fully curated experience takes you through our notably humble Sideshow Obscura, sought by savants and country people alike. Find yourself in the world only we are brazen enough to share. From the weird and unexplained to the fearsome and ferocious, here you leave one reality behind and shift into the unknown. If you stay on the path, all should be fine. But remember, only the bravest should ... enter if you dare.
So now we're heading into the sideshow. What does this poster say?
Let's read it.
So here's the poster for the preserved and mysterious cursed Tibetan Yeti paw. In icy tale, this talisman was found among the wreckage of an expedition to the Forbidden Mountains. During a scuffle with a member of the Global Discovery Group, only the paw was recovered. All remaining crew perished.
You have one of Dracula's brides right here.
Then we have the Book of the Grotesque, page by page. Although the origins of this book are unknown, the lineage is very well documented. All other previous owners went missing and left no trace other than this book. Notes held within the book continue to claim victims within its pages. Now if we look, we can see the curator's photo right there, and then also the photo of Boris Schuster's totem that he found years ago that we've been kind of following the story.
So then over here is going to be the next poster, and then right next to him, there it is.
Then witness over 8 feet of monster, the mummified giant, eye of the beholder, discovered buried beneath the Grecian shop. This colossal corpse was preserved for over 3,000 years, banded in cloth and wound in chain, but it was thought to be one of the only known Cyclopsians giants fully intact. Unsubstantiated claims state it still moves independently when not being viewed.
And a little Earl of Squirrel right there. These little cards, there's 12 of them to find. This is 2 out of 12. We saw these in Boris's office, but now we gotta find every single one inside the tribute store. Over here we got the Pythos from the Mummy arcade from last year. Like here in the jars, it's almost like from the Bride of Frankenstein. Couple more posters. We'll go over this poster next.
Then there's the Amulet of Misery, death by fashion, forged in the fires of the earth's chaotic creation. This golden amulet absorbs its wearer's life essence. When it is done, it drags the person deep into the core of the earth. The power gained, unknown, but the appetite of the amulet is never satiated.
And now we'll go over that poster.
The Wing of Elements. Arthurian legend tells a story of two warlocks shapeshifted into fierce dragons fighting to be the one to find Merlin's Book of Magic. When the finale battle ended, we managed to secure a Wing of the Fallen.
And then, time for the next one.
The Tale of Two Souls. As evil wakes, the cycle begins anew. From a curated collection of beasts and beings, a choice is made and given no reason. For life's essence to pass, a question is asked. Was the lesson learned this haunting season? As the wind stands still and no answer is given, the curator grins and his collection remittance. Another year passes as his torch grows brighter, awaiting the one that can douse his lamp lighter.
Number 6, we got the Wing of a Dragon, Fire or Ice. Now we're going backstage. We're inside, right? Now we're gonna go back a house, the classic maths from Major Suite, right there. Now back here, this is like the wheel from the Mardi Gras tribute store from years ago. They had the blacklight reactive paint on it. So it says, no beast can hide from Ordic, the monster tamer. See him in the fierce, single-handed battle between the most dangerous, otherworldly beasts known to man. Enter the pit. Come face to face with the beasts only found in your darkest nightmares. Here we can get a look at some of the beasts that they're taking on. What the heck is that thing? Looks like the Thing. And then the coffin tooth creature. So then right here it says, sorry folks, the pit is at capacity. Check back tomorrow for more showtimes. Sideshow Obscura management. Now when you come back here, you're gonna look up and you're gonna see a little cryptid. Remember there's a little scavenger hunt when they're like hiding inside the popcorn machine?
So the cryptid is called a grunch. The backstory is kind of wild. So according to an old voodoo legend, Marie Laveau attempted to stop the spread of evil by castrating the devil baby at birth, ensuring he could not produce more of his kind. As the severed testicles fall to the floor, they are said to have transformed into male and female grunch, grotesque creatures of supernatural origin. The legend claims that the grunch immediately turned on Laveau, attacking her with vicious bites and relentless blows. Despite her legendary power, the great voodoo queen struggled against their overwhelming strength, experiencing unimaginable terror before finally collapsing into unconsciousness. When she awoke, both the grunch and the devil baby had vanished. Left gravely weakened by the encounter, Laveau was said to be near death. Some believe that this harrowing experience led her to renounce her hoodoo practices, turning instead to Catholicism in her later years.
And then there's the next card, 5 out of 12, the Monster Hunter, Auric, and then one of Boris's business cards is down there. So now we're going back a house even more. This is where the animals are being kept. So you can see all the chains back here. Uh-oh, you can see a giant cage that the monster's broken out of. Now here's some coffin tooth pellets. So that's what's in here, the coffin tooth. What the hell? What the hell was that? Looked like Gizmo popping up. You know what? Picking favorites. Okay, what did you get?
I got the little decoder.
Oh, you got the decoder.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta do it the hard way.
Yep.
Spend hours figuring out what you created. Oh, what is in there? If you look inside, there's a little Bigfoot in there holding a key inside the pen. So you got like the bathtub to wash up backstage. And they got the poster for the rat lady, the one and only. This might be one of the best posters here.
So the Sideshow Obscura presents the fight of the century. Gurg versus Duffy. Now, if you didn't know the backstory behind Gurg the Llama, who's another tribute store kind of mascot, Gurg was all created off of Greg Duffy's name. It was just a misorder at the Starbucks where they called him Gurg instead of Greg, and that's the backstory behind Gurg the Llama. But it's Gurg versus Greg, or Gurg versus Duffy. It's a good little Easter egg.
All right, we have this little critter right here. It's moving. You can see it moving and breathing and snoring. We got the next poster right here to go over.
Then we got this. You Can't Hide from the Mouth Brooder. Now, this is from the Depths of Fear House. It's a classic HHN character because the design was awesome. Then we have the Mataluda Mutant, as you know, the classic Universal monster. And then the Metal Menace Truckosaurus. This is Robosaurus, a classic part of HHN history. There was this giant robot that would just chomp on a car. It's so bizarre.
So I think we're gonna head into the pit because we saw the stairs going up there, right, to like watch from the arena. So we're backstage where the animals were. Animals escaped. Now we're gonna head into the pit. It looks like the monster that we saw has now escaped. There's claw marks everywhere, even right here. And then when you look up, it's kind of hard to see, but there's silhouettes as if you're in an arena and all the audience is looking at you. And you'll see kind of a shadow effect. See, look, there's hands that are coming out as if the shadow of the crowd from right above you. So now we're going to exit the pit. So the monster is still clawing its way through. And then we got Auric, the monster tamer. Looks like the monster definitely got to him. Scratched them all up. We got the head all the way down there. Bunch of Easter eggs on the fence line. So we have tickets. We got some boiled peanut for Christmas time with our oldest squirrel. We're gonna help wanted sign. Our happy sideshow needs you. They need human curiosities, dead/alive monsters, cooks, illusionists, engineers, and medics. Contact the curator for more information. And then we have a banner from Madam Basil. Hot dog 75 cents. What's going on with this? Oh, we got some stuff to decipher right up there. It says, Sir Richard the Invincible. See them live. He's wearing like a hunting vest, but that's definitely the curator right there.
So if you look above the curator, right, we're going to have this demon skull. We see this demon skull in the first room, undefeated for over 30 years, see them live, and we can see Truckosaurus there. So it looks like the curator was tracking down some of the most unique creatures around and having them at Halloween Horror Nights over the years. Now, he's not like Fear, where he's like pulling the strings, but it looks like he was kind of funding some of the creatures that got put into HHN over the years.
We got signs for the boardwalk, the midway, more of those posters, the Hall of Mirrors. Then over here, kitchen, Sideshow Obscura, employees only, danger, live animal feed. Claw marks continue going into here. So let's decipher what that says.
All right, so when you translate it, it says, this is not a door, there's no escape. So Ordric definitely ran in there, and the coffin tooth monster was going after him, so it definitely went in there and got him. And there's no escape, so he couldn't go anywhere. So Ordric did not make it out. So all the signage talk about him being like the greatest monster battler didn't end up well for him. The monster won.
And then right here it says closed forever, and then it says arcade because we're never returning to the Mummy arcade gift shop. Then over here they got McDougal's House of Horrors. So let's cover that real quick.
So McDougal's House of Horrors is a deep cut to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. So Mr. McDougal was the proprietor of the McDougal's House of Horror, where he purchased the remains of Dracula and Frankenstein's monster in the intent of displaying them at his establishment.
Double Trouble, cotton candy, 2 for 5 cents. Little monster candy right there. Let's head into Madame Basil's now. As you know, she was in her office and she went missing. So now we know where she's ending up. She's here hanging out. So it looks like we're heading into her cart. Yeah, this is like her closet, it looks like. The traveling cases, yeah, because she had luggage and now it's gone. Oh, look at this. It's like stained glass. There's not too much new merchandise. We've pretty much seen most of it.
There's a ton of different items inside these little vials. So we look over here, we have pieces from the Lost Continent, you know, Dragon Duel from Dueling Dragons. Come over here to Sahara Sunset, then Potion Pretorius, which is Dr. Pretorius. So in the first room, we saw the last homunculus. As you know, Dr. Pretorius created those little creatures, but it looks like a new little ingredient or potion, which might be able to turn people into that size, and they're naming it after him. And then the last one is Finnegan's. As you know, Finnegan's is also kind of closed right now and going under a massive refurb, so it's a nod to stuff that's closed. But then over here, we have Madame Basil's poster that's up here. So before she was a fortune teller, it looked like she would do death-defying stunts, and her name was Basil the Boundless, and she was kind of like an escape artist, it almost looks like. And even Houdini wrote a little note to her. Basil, your brilliance is only matched by your beauty in this life and the next. I hope to work with you again. H. Houdini. So Harry Houdini was pretty impressed with what she pulled off, but it does look like over time, you know, she gets aged out of being an escape artist and becomes a fortune teller inside New York. Then we see photos right next to this poster. They're photos of New York, and then also the red squirrel. There's a little nod to Earl the Squirrel. This card was also next to that haunted nutcracker from the Holiday Tribute store.
When you look up here, you have the cane from the Wolfman Universal Monsters film right up there. Heading out of her wagon now, and now we're gonna head into her tent.
Okay, let's do the rundown about this special mirror with these haunted ghosts inside of it. This is all going to connect again back to Madame Basil. She was the world's first mystic magician. She was so good that even Houdini was impressed by her. So she was a great escape artist, but she did death-defying stunts, which I'm sure she also communed with the afterlife. So this is like a haunted mirror with souls within it. So we know that Madame Basil is working for the Curator right now. And if we go back to the first room, if you remember the Book of the Grotesque, it said this: all other previous owners went missing and left no trace other than this book. Notes held within the book continue to claim victims within its pages. Now we can actually see the Book of the Grotesque, and there's actually an image, and it says last known owner of the Book of Grotesque. So inside the book we can see different kind of Easter eggs to past kind of HHN tribute store historical events. So then we see that same person who was the last owner of it currently in the mirror. So whatever power she got from that book, it's almost like she kind of lost her soul and it got trapped inside the mirror. Now, we also see another returning character, Victor Pavo. If you remember, he was the captain of the PS Songbird from the Mardi Gras tribute store from the years in the past. And then, as we know, the ship kind of ran aground, and then King Gator, I'm guessing, ate the people and they lost their souls. So someone is using animals to collect all these souls. But we're just getting little teases about what's going on behind the scenes with this Book of the Grotesque.
All right, so now we're heading back outside. We cut through her wagon, and then we went to where you can get your fortune told. And now we're gonna head back outside. $12 each, or four for $35. They do have some new medallions. They got one of Pinhead, Art the Clown, Killer Clowns, and then Sinners. And then that's how they'll look. They got a little photo up here where you can stand in front of the target. Looks like there have been some hit marks. Blood is there with a knife mark. You're exiting the tent. There's the other tent right next door. And look at this massive Ferris wheel. And then you have the Curator front and center on the Ferris wheel. Now the game booth is closed. The other game booth is closed over here. There's the Damus Diaboli, like devil. So we found another card right here, 11 out of 12 right there. Devilish Dark Ride. Okay, so we're gonna go to a Dark Ride next, it looks like. And look at the size of this. Look, they got flames up there. And it's like an old carnival Dark Ride, but you're gonna go into the Devil's Mouth. And this is where you'll enter in to the Dark Ride. Stay behind the yellow line and wait for the next ride vehicle. So they have the yellow line. Here's the ticket just for the Dark Ride. So you can see wrong way, ride vehicles only. So you can see the dark ride going right there. These are like those wooden door flaps that open and close for the dark ride. And then this is where you'll enter in to the dark ride. Let's come back in and see what's going on. There's a massive carousel here. Look at this. It's all just like the little stickers that they're putting on the ground, but it looks like just carnival trash and posters everywhere. And then you kind of like loop around, and then you kind of end at the registers with this carousel. You see the silhouette of the ghostly carousel going by, and you have a carousel horse right here, and you can see the silhouettes of the horses right behind the registers. So now we're gonna leave the dark ride and we're gonna go back outside where we're not supposed to. Follow the dirt, see the footprints in the dirt. Again, this is just a sticker, right? And then we will continue. Oh, we got the curator over here. We have our first customer, and he has been here a while. Over here, we got the curator. This is his normal cloak that we've kind of seen him with, but then also we saw him hunting, right, in that one poster, and then there's kind of a hunting hat that he was wearing. Alright, there's so many Easter eggs to go over. The curator, collector of souls.
Alright, so here we have some trivios. It says, hey kids, use the Tribute Store secret message decoder to find some silly curator messages around the store. Now, we will go through eventually over the season and decode everything. We only just did a couple for this one because they just take so long. This is going to be the Tribute to Terror comic, and then also we can see the McPherson's comic book store receipt inside. That was hidden inside the Jurassic Park Tribute Store to tease the HHN Tribute Store. We also have the classic Shining photo right behind. But then this photo was also in the last Tribute Store. Gone but not forgotten, we have the Black Cat facade. Then you get the Stein collection, which was in the Mummy gift shop. So it looks like the curator has collected a bunch of those artifacts from the Stein collection. We also have the Hollow Hills Cemetery. This is from the first comic book, from the Tribute to Terror. So in this box is all of the wax molds that they used to have at the Tribute stores. You can even see Little Boo. We have the zombie head from the Dark Ride. Over here we have all the different totems and idols that we saw inside the Stein collection. Again, Boris's idol, Batilda. These are all kind of popping up within all the Tribute stores. So we're going to see the story again flesh out over the coming years. Over here, we have the red and green skull. This is going to be from HHN 25 from the store display. Okay, now we'll come over to this cane. This is where the backstory gets kind of crazy. So this is the curator's cane, or Richard, as we now know, that's his real name. This is his cane. So the cane has a lot of power. It's kind of like his own version of the Cane of Souls. It says that he's the soul collector. So right, we're coming into his midway. Then you're entering into the pit, and then that's where the monster is released. But we kind of see how he used his cane to kind of fight off the monster, Coffin Tooth, and absorb its soul, and then kind of control it. You can see that backstory happening inside the puppet show. So then we go to the next room, right? And you can see on the lock, you have the grunge imagery on the lock. So the curator had something to do with the beast escaping and then going to attack people. And then because of their sacrifices, the curator could then obtain their souls for more power. So you see inside the cage, when the monster's released, there's a little Yeti in there, a little Bigfoot with some keys. So it looks like, because of the imagery on the lock, that the curator unlocked the creature so that it could escape and go attack people and get souls. But if you go back to the first poster, the Tibetan Yeti hand, if we listen to what that says in the description, we can learn a little more. In Icy Tale, this talisman was found among the wreckage of an expedition to the Forbidden Mountains. During a scuffle with a member of the Global Discovery Group, only the paw was recovered. All remaining crew perished. Now this connects with the last HHN Tribute store with the Pythos and the Global Discovery Group. So it looks like Richard was maybe helping out the Global Discovery Group. They then find the Yeti, and then Richard does something which makes the entire team disappear. Now this happens all after last year's Tribute store, because we know the Pythos is in the museum. We can even see some of those monsters inside the curator's current collection. It looks like he was the one who kind of captured all those monsters. But then we look over here and we can see original Fright Nights kind of lanyard card, again alluding to that the curator has been helping kind of supply Fear and Universal with some of these monsters. And then we can see the Global Discovery Group team that we saw last time. They're stuck inside the bottles, as we saw in Madame Basil's little vial. There's the Pretorius little vial. So I'm guessing the Curator, while he was touring them around, heard about some of the stuff that they found, like the Pithos, used the vial, shrunk them down, put them in these bottles, because it says the entire team was lost and no one could find any evidence. Because they're here. They're here at the end in his little collection. Now, if you remember in the video that was played, there was a mysterious person kind of photographing the artifacts that they found. Could that have been the Curator in disguise, or was that one of the Curator's henchmen being like, hey, they found this stuff, and then he goes on the tour with them to find out more with the Yeti, and then, you know, traps him in these bottles. We also see little Gregorio. This is from the PS Songbird. As we know, Captain Pavo is stuck in that mirror. His soul is trapped. The haunted dog Gregorio is also trapped inside the collection. So it's kind of connecting all the tribute stores together. But there's more Easter eggs we're going to go over in the upcoming HHN updates. But this was just the first little bit of story that we kind of unlocked in my first walkthrough. Team member preview is happening right now. So we're going to go to the front entrance and see how the projections look, and then also peek through the front gate.
What's the update? What happened?
So the Universal Globe this year, it's two different colors. One represents Jack and the other represents Oddfellow.
Look at that. There's a red and purple light on it. All right, let's go see whatever this is. So yeah, you got Jack to the left, Oddfellow to the right. You can still see through to the Universal Studios Florida logo. All right, so this is how you enter in. There it is. It's happening.
And where do you think you're going? Well. You think you can escape? The nightmare is forever. Don't worry, you won't be missed. Your icons of horror, your purveyors of pain, your ringmasters of fear. Come one, come all, to our infernal carnival.
So close, but so far away. I like that Jack and Oddfellow have live mics, so they can talk to people when they're walking through. It's not a pre-recorded audio. Like with the Pumpkin Lord, it's like a pre-recorded audio. But here, they have live mics, so they can talk to guests. Okay, guys, we're back in the office. Had a blast with the tribute store. There's still more details and story elements to unlock. We gotta like decode everything. But when it comes to the tribute stores, they're considered the 11th house. So it's like its own kind of original story and its own like 11th HHN house. Because the amount of time it will take you to kind of walk through the tribute store is the same amount of time it'll take you to walk through one of the houses. I'm so happy the tribute store is back this year. And thank you to every single person who helped make that a possibility this year. Because without the fans of the tribute store, we wouldn't have what we have today for the tribute store. So thank you for every single person who reached out to Universal to help the creative's vision become a reality. So there's so many more Easter eggs to still uncover. When you guys are watching this, I'm getting ready to go to Premium Scream Night. So it might come out tomorrow or the day after the walkthrough. It ends at 2 in the morning, so we'll see how I'm doing in the morning. I gotta have like good sleep to prepare for the walkthrough. That's the main focus, but I will try to get the Premium Scream video out tomorrow, but it might be delayed 2 days and the walkthrough video might be the next video that we post. But we'll just have to wait and see. But on that note, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you have not already, hit the subscribe button and join the family.
I love the family.
Because I'm gonna keep you up to date on all things Universal Studios and Halloween Horror Nights around the country. I love y'all. I'll see y'all very soon.
One represents Hooterate and the other represents Hooterate.